10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Through Black and White Eyes. I'm going to try and not make... if any of you guys have got a drink in your hand or you're drinking, and just put it down for a few minutes when I start going into the show, because I'm going to try and do it without bursting out laughing, because I've just got something lined up. I think it's quite funny. That's just me being big-headed, as always. Leslie says, evening and welcome to Through Black and White Eyes. Please like and share, subscribe to help the channel grow. It's free. Please adhere to standard community guidelines, keep comments respectful, and of course enjoy the show. Thank you, Les. You're welcome, Ches. I was waiting for you. Sorry. You can join the channel from just 99p and gain entry to a regular members prize draws, or donate using the super chat in the bottom right hand corner. All profits donated to charity. And as we've said, we're up to this amount, and our goal this year is to raise another £5,000. Hopefully we'll raise more, but that's the target. I want to fly through all these quick as I can. No need to apologise. I'm just to get there first. Hi, everyone. Hi, Ches. Hi, Gary. Hi, Roger in the house. It looks like I'm doing this on my own tonight, so it will be a shorter show, which I'm sort of quite happy with, because I've got my first day back at work tomorrow after 2 and a bit weeks off, and I am not looking forward to that 5 o'clock alarm. There's loads of it in the house. Here's a thought. Just let's talk about how poor they were, not about how fantastic we were. That's how Sky Sports love to do it, don't they? Who has made New Year resolutions? Managed to wake more 24 hours sleep. Hard, I know, but I'm one. I like it. Roger, yeah, not enough going around. I have made a New Year's resolution, but it doesn't start until my little girl goes to nursery and I've got more time on my hands. Craig Hope saying we're monitoring McAtee from City. I'll be surprised at that. I mean, monitoring, and it we're probably monitoring about 50 players, at the end of the day. So there we go. Most Man U fan channels I've seen most certainly give us credit, which is great. It's what you want to see from actual fans. Evening, Fergus. Can we keep an eye out for Daniel as well tonight if he's in the chat, because he won the Newcastle shirt and he hasn't been in touch yet. So Daniel, if you're watching, you won the shirt, mate. Get in touch. Roger Mogul, Lee's in the house. I'm seeing you for a while. Happy New Year, pal. Hope you had a cracking one, and again, Happy New Year to everyone. I did say it in my videos. You've probably seen it, but Happy New Year to everyone. Hope you have an amazing year. Definitely no drink tonight. Not after New Year's Eve. Jesus Christ, I ruined myself. 86 at the moment, Baz. 86 at the moment. You've lost me. I get lost too easily. Right, guys, put your drink down. So we're obviously here to talk about this absolute fantastic result. And it all started, we had the game before we even got on the pitch. We had the fans in meltdown with this picture. 474,000 views my tweet got with this picture. And there was a few Man United fans very unhappy with it. Then, Man United have been trolled by San Marino. We don't want to play against you anymore. Your level is lower than us. All the Man United fans... tears, everyone was drinking their tears. It was absolutely brilliant. But then after we put the cans down, we reached for the tissues as we humped them, destroyed them. Absolutely. I'm so sorry. It had to be done. 2 weeks up as, 2 and a bit. Players linked to 86 players linked to us. It's going to get more in it. Daniel Wallace, how long has he got to contact you, Baz? Another week. So sorry for doing that, guys, but I just couldn't help myself. Evening, Andrew. Hope you're well, mate. Oh, man. I'm in stitches. The people who create these things are brilliant. Isak, Joelinton and Gordon. Man United in the 4K likes, 5K thumbs up, 2004, 2.4 million views. I just love it. I absolutely love it. Andrew's getting all the evenings. Oh, but the best bit, San Marino trolling them. San Marino are actually trolling Man United. Can you believe it? It's just, honestly, it's the gift that keeps on giving. It really is. Right. This was Man United's lineup. When I saw the lineup, I thought, Jesus Christ, we're going to get into these. Ahmed's the only one that, the shining star of the Man United squad at the moment. He's got a big future ahead of him if he can keep his feet on the ground. He's also out of contract in the summer, so he can actually agree to go wherever he wants at the moment. And Eriksen, I've always been a big fan of Eriksen. I think he's a fantastic footballer, but his better days are past him now. So when I saw Eriksen and Casemiro midfield and Zerki playing as a 10 behind Højlund, I was just like, whoo, things are going to get naughty. Our team was unchanged, just what we hoped for. Again, it would have been Tonali for trips. That would have been the only change if there was going to be a change. But it's nice to see an unchanged side again. Dubravka going back to his old club. He was on loan, I remember. He didn't get much of a look in there. All is forgiven because he's been absolutely superb for us recently. And it didn't take long, did it? It really didn't take long. They could get relegated, mate. They could. But it literally didn't take long. Inside 5 minutes, Newcastle United 1-0 up. And it was a lovely move. It was the turn from Bruno, the 1-2 with Tonali, the quick ball out wide. That was the second goal. It was the long ball from right to left that found Lewis Hall. Took a great touch. His cross took a deflection, fair enough, but it was right on Isak's head, the deflection, and he wasn't going to miss from there as well. Celebrations were very subdued, though, weren't they? It's just, I don't know whether they just thought we just got to turn up today and we're going to win. I mean, the fans in the away end were going absolutely potty. It was absolutely brilliant. Their midfield made no sense at all. An agent double pivot against J7, Bruno and Tonali. How do they think they're going to compete? I have no idea. I was shocked. But it was a great opening goal. It was great to see Isak carrying on that fabulous run that he's on at the moment. And being 1-0 up at Old Trafford inside 5 minutes just settled my nerves a lot. And it didn't take long for the second goal either, which is the one where Bruno turned, 1-2 with Tonali out to Gordon. Gordon was one-on-one with his man. Puts a beautiful in-swinging cross in J7 with the header to put us 2-0 up. A bit fortunate in a way that it went in. It did go off the very high of his arm, so it wasn't a handball. But it could have easily been cancelled out because you know what they're like. And inside 30 minutes, we were destroying them. We literally had chance after chance. The best move of the game. Hey, all right, pal. How's it going? Check out Mighty Mag. That's a big, long name, mate, but check him out. He's a good lad. But yeah, the best move of the game is when, we ripped them apart right through the middle. And Bruno's little through ball to Gordon. Gordon's missed touch ended up being a beautiful pass back to Tonali. Tonali was inside the 6-yard box and somehow crashed the ball off the post. And it flew out, and that sparked Man United into a change. And this is where I felt really sorry for Xerxes, and no one likes to be subbed in the first half. Yes, Happy New Year, pal. Hope you're having a great one. Yeah, so Xerxes comes off for Menu, who I thought should have started the game, to be completely honest with you. But nobody likes to see an opposition player getting booed. And all credit to Anthony Gordon. I don't know if you saw it, but when Zirkzee was running off, Gordon tried to give him a high five, a low five sort of thing. And, kind of like, trying to console him a little bit on the way off. He tried to go down the tunnel and then got told to go back to the bench. He was obviously clearly upset. So again, that was probably another bad move from the Man United staff. They should have just let him go into the changing rooms, and get himself sorted, basically. So, I mean, their fans online have been right. They shouldn't have done what they did. It's gone. I just feel sorry for him because no player should be booed off, after 32 minutes of a game. It's hard. But Manu made a massive difference when he came on. He showed up that midfield. We found it very hard to get through them. And it became a bit of a difficult one. It really did. It became a bit of a difficult game. Even though we were 2-0 up, I was like, I'm not happy about the way this is going. But this was unbelievable. The first half, all of 10 Newcastle's outfield players either had a shot or created a chance in the first half against Man United. It doesn't say we're the first team to do it, but were we the first team to do it? I've never seen a team ever do that before. And that was just phenomenal how we literally came out the blocks, fired at them. And it was just an absolute fabulous performance in the first 30 minutes until that substitution. And yeah, it was a little bit frustrating, wasn't it? I mean, the second half kicks off. And I mean, if you look at the stats from the first half to the second half, it is the complete polar opposite. We had something like 10 shots in the first half. In the second half, we had 1. And that tells you how poor we really were in the second half. And that's the only criticism I've got of Eddie Howe in this game against Man United is he didn't make his substitutions quick enough for me. Yes, he got forced into one with Kieran Trippier coming off for Tino. And by the way, massive shout out to Trips. He showed why he should stay at the club. He loves the club. His dedication was unbelievable. He went down with an injury and said he needed to come off. We were down to 10 men. And instead of just saying, well, I'm injured, I'm not going back on the pitch, he ran back on and he made a very important block down that left-hand side, or right-hand side, and basically put it out for a throw-in. And that was just brilliant. Absolutely fantastic. Botman has declared himself ready for return to the first team, and Trippier should be fine for Spurs. I love the sound of that. It looks like Gaz has made it.
Hello. Yeah,
Hello.
right?
Yeah, I'm good, man.
Good.
Just talking about the first half, Trippier's dedication. We went down to 10 men when he went off, but then he flung himself back on, made a really important block, and then got subbed off for his whatever it was, hamstring, something. He felt something. But this is why I want to keep Trippier at Newcastle United, because that dedication, that passion, not many other players would. If a Man United player went down injured and went off, I wouldn't have seen them going back on to do that.
No. You've got to be careful though, because I think Eddie made the right call, because we've got a capable right back to come on for him, and if he has got a little injury,
he should definitely have gone off. But he can't. Yeah. I mean, his dedication to do that was fantastic, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, well, it runs through that whole team from down to a youth team all the way up. I mean, it didn't used to be like that, but everybody, I don't know, that just the whole club from top to bottom just seems to want to win, and nobody dedicates more than that than Kieran Trippier. He was the first one who made the takeover jump and everything like that, and first player we bought, and everybody else just followed, and still the best right back I've seen at the club. And just when it comes to selling him, it's a hard one. I don't want to see him go. I think we should keep him, but I would understand if the club got rid of him, if that made. And it's because of this PSR shit. And it's it's I get it, but I would personally keep him. But if they've got a replacement lined up, then fair enough. But I cannot see them having a replacement lined up. Not right back anyway.
No, definitely not. Right. So the game phases out a little bit. Second half I thought was very poor. I've just said that Eddie Howe. My only criticism of him in this game was that he waited till the 85th minute to make two substitutions when you could see with the change of Manu coming on, it changed that midfield dynamic. And we looked quite leggy in the second half. We didn't create anything. We looked a little bit edgy, like a little bit, I don't know, like we're 2-0 up. Do we go for the killer third goal or do we just defend what we've got? And I just felt like we were catching ourselves in no man's land in the game. And maybe an earlier substitution, 65th minute, 70th minute, could have brought some fresh legs into that midfield and we could have dominated them again.
Do you know what it is? I watched a Man United fan talking about the game. And he said that first 30 minutes was the worst he's ever seen Man United play. But he says it was down to Newcastle not letting we play.
Yeah.
And Manu came on and sort of added more to their midfield because it was getting overrun. And then in the second half, I'm not going to lie, I think the Newcastle players were in that much shock of how shit Man United really were. I think they didn't know what to do. I think they were thinking, if we go for a third, we could get caught. And then they could score and then it could be a bit edgy. But Man United were that bad. And I think we just thought, let's just see the game out. And that's exactly what happened in the second half. It was a nothing second half. Absolutely. Apart from a Maguire hitting the post header, I can't remember anything else happening much in that second half.
There was the block from Lewis Hall, which I think would have been blocked out. But
I think Dubravka would have saved that.
I think my United player might got a header in on it though. The way the angle it was going. So I thought it was a great block. I think Dubravka made one save, if I can remember right.
Yeah, I mean, I've never known our goalkeepers be that quiet at Old Trafford, mate. Apart from the times Dubravka touched the ball was when we were laying it off to him.
Yeah.
And you know what is? The only time we looked in any danger was our mistake. I.e. Shaw trying to do an outside of the foot pass. I mean, I tell you what, I screamed. I screamed at the TV. And it was, but I think Man United were that bad. We just, I don't know, we just sat back, and I think by about the 65th minute, 67th minute, whatever it was, I think they were just thinking, they're never going to break we're down here, so let's just not do anything stupid. And I think Eddie Howe probably thought the same. He probably thought, I don't want to change it too much because we'll look comfortable anyway. So
yeah,
but it's Newcastle players are fit in.
Was comfortable in the second half, though. I thought we looked tired. We weren't winning the midfield battles. I'll give you an example of why I'm saying that. I checked the stats out again and I couldn't believe my eyes. So in the first half, when I bring it up, statistics, first half, 1.89 expected goals, 4 big chances, 11 shots. Second half, expected goals 0.02. That's how poor we were in the second half. Total shots 1. So to me, it just felt like we were seeing the game out, but we couldn't really dominate the way we were because they're changing midfield, bringing Manu on, and they kind of stacked the midfield, didn't they, to try and stop us from breaking the lines that we were doing so easily in the first 32 minutes. And that's why I thought maybe we should have made a tactical change or, change something just to try and beat their press, beat their midfield, because it was a little bit too easy for them. But it was too easy for us at the back as well. Do you know what I mean? But I just felt if that goal had gone in, if Maguire's header had gone in, I would have been papping myself. Here we go again.
Well, I think Newcastle always had another level in them. And I think I heard it on the radio where they said the same thing. They thought that one switch and Newcastle will be away again. And it's, I think, you know what it is? I think probably the way it eased off in the second half a bit is because they were thinking we're away to Manchester United here and we don't want to do anything stupid. And as much as,
Valid point.
yeah, I think the problem with Man United is I think me, you, and everybody in the chat in the group that we're a part of are still living in the past regarding Manchester United, and I think the fans are, and I think the media are, and we still see Fergie's Man United, and you're not that anymore.
No, we're
And
not. Still, even our record is terrible at Old Trafford. We've got
well, that's it. But records are there to be broken. I remember watching Newcastle couldn't win a game in London for so many years, and then they broke it away to the best team in the country. Yeah. And it was just, that's what Newcastle do. And I'm telling you now, 3 years ago, yeah, I mean, they've done it before. They've been 2-0 up at Old Trafford before and they've lost the game. 3 years ago, Newcastle might have went 2-0 up and not won the game. But not these lot, not these players. They've got too much fighting heart about them. And there was, I think it was it in the first half or the second half? It was the first half. There was a picture taken where Diallo was on the right wing, and he had 4 Newcastle players around him.
Yeah,
and he had nowhere to go, and that summed everything up about that team. And that fit is out, and I think Eddie Howe's let them off the leash a bit, basically saying, "Look, go out there, play the way you did a few years ago. We're fit enough, we're strong enough, and now it's time to go out and do it. Europe's kicking in for other teams now. They'll be getting more tired, and we've got less games. I know we've got Carabao Cup, but look, it is what it is. Best players always find a way, and this is why they play 70-odd games. So, but I know what you mean. It did die off in the second half a bit, but it's definitely the cup.
That made me worried a little bit. That made me edgy.
Well, I think it's an Old Trafford thing. I really do. I think it's a Manchester United thing, and apparently Man United fans said that they were better against Bournemouth 1,000,000% than they were against us. Now, apparently Man United had 20-odd shots against Bournemouth when they lost 3-0. They only had about 10 against us, and Man United fans have said, you go and listen, and that first 35 minutes was the worst performance they've seen from Man United for years and years. And
so even with the shots, I mean, they had 2 big chances, didn't they? Like you mentioned,
and that was because of us fucking up. But that was because of our mistake, both of them. And I remember that and see the mistakes now. Fabian Shaw's bloody outside flick, and he was out of position for the Hoyland chance, and it was. But honestly, it was one of those games for me. I expected to be a bit more nervous than I was. And as soon as Isak scored in the first 3 minutes, that was it for me. I thought, Man United are going to crumble. And that's what was said in the group. Get early goal against these, and these lot will crumble. And they did. And look, and that's not the Man United show, but why Man United didn't start Kobe Mainoo is beyond me, man. I mean, does he watch Newcastle's midfield? Does he watch Newcastle at all? Because playing 2 older guys in the middle against our midfield, when you've got a young lad on the bench, fair enough, who probably hasn't played as well as he has last season, is mind-boggling for me. And that was the first time I thought, I think he's a good manager, but is he as good as people think he is? But there was a good victory nonetheless, and like I said, I would have taken a 1-0 victory off Dan Burns' horse in the last minute.
It wasn't good. It was exceptional. You missed my opening sequence. You'll have to watch it back after the show because.
All right, well, excited one.
Just a little bit. Not just excited. I put a little piece together that was really good. I unfortunately, I've deleted the pictures now, so you can't see it. But it's definitely worth going back over it. Trust me. Just don't have a drink in your hand or in your mouth when you listen to it. Before we go to the next bit, don't forget we've got amazing sponsors, Diacro, code BAZ 20% off. All their merchandise, absolute cracking stuff. Link is in the description. Football prizes have knocked it out the park again. I mean, you can win a Gordon signed shirt, framed, or you can win a Barnes shirt, a Joelinton shirt. There's other prizes up for grabs. The tickets are only 39 pence, but there are 2,999 of them. So normally there's only 500, but it's $3.95 a ticket. But this is so cheap. It gives you a chance to buy loads and hopefully be that lucky person. And Anthony Gordon signed shirt is just the perfect price for me. After what he said when he was driving his car, the TikTok video is absolutely brilliant. You need to listen to it. So please do that. Link is in the description for both. So please check them out. And then don't forget, we've got this fantastic night on the 16th of January. Doors open at 7 p.m. We've got Luke Edwards as a special guest. We'll ask him loads of questions about Newcastle and January transfer window and all that sort of stuff. Just email superfandan831@gmail.com. And we might have 2 tickets to give away for this, donated by Dave Armstrong, who's a cracking guy. He can't make it to the night, but he says he wants to buy 2 tickets and give them away. So I will let you know how that's going to happen once it's sorted. And finally, if you're in the York area, get yourself down to my brother-in-law's pub. That burger was amazing, and the chips. It wasn't amazing coming back up on New Year's Day, though.
I can imagine.
After a very hefty drinking session. But the Black Horse in Wigginton, if you're ever anywhere near York, you want to check it out. It's a great pub. Good music as well. We had a live band on. It was a cracking night. We were hunting impacts out of possession. It was great to see the hard work putting in from the more attacking players. It was. I mean, they do it every game, though. This is the thing. It's just, we're starting to do it a little bit more. Read that we're going to offer him a job pre-season and yet waited. Why? Bunch of idiots. Well, apparently they didn't want him, but then they did get him. It was a bit weird. Ashraf advised against, yeah, exactly. That's what I heard. Didn't have the place to suit his system, but they went out and got him anyway.
The one thing I'll say about Amorim before we move on is I think the fact that Liverpool said no to him sums that up a bit for me, because they had a chance and they didn't take it.
But again, they might not have the players to fit his system either, mightn't they?
Well, they've got more players to fit his system than Manchester United have. There's just nobody. Look, he can stick with that system all he wants, but until he gets 2 good fullbacks, that system is not going to work. And it's a fullback system, and he needs a Lewis Hall. That's what he needs. He needs a player like that, and he hasn't got one. No. He's got an absolute plank who runs forward and then comes back. And that's all Dalot does. And the other guy was supposed to be one of the best players of the season, and he couldn't handle Gordon. Couldn't control. But let the tears keep continuing for me. It's beautiful to watch. It's beautiful to watch.
Obviously, this happens after every victory. I want to know how they all fitted in that change room, because that roof looks a little bit low. How did Dan Burn get in there? Santa's back in the picture as well. It's great to see Santa in there. The Eddie Howe effect. But I just love seeing that.
I'll tell you what pisses me off about that was who stood on Isaac's foot, though.
Oh, yeah, he doesn't look too happy, does he? It's like,
no, he's not happy.
Please make sure you weren't wearing boots when you did that.
Yeah. But I have to admit, you're right, Minds. When you look at that picture, you would think it was a League One ground, wouldn't you? Looking at it. Yeah.
Well, a lot of Premier League clubs do that, though, don't they, to the away teams? They have this shocking away
change.
Yeah. And they have a great
I get that, but I've seen Newcastle take better pictures than that. And I think it sums up Old Trafford, because it is falling down, isn't it? And I think it looks, that looks League One standard to me, that changing room.
Yeah. No, Andrew, it's all about us playing well. We know it is. Have you been showing pics of the last 3 years? Exactly. This is why we do it. I love how we do it.
I know Man United fans won't be watching this, but to all the Man United fans, even if there's a slight one, the ones saying, "Oh, they've won the Man United away trophy." We take this picture every fucking game, right?
Yeah.
So we do it to piss you off, and it works. So there's no Man United trophy involved. We do it every game. We win. So there you go. If you didn't believe us, go and check.
That's what I said at the start of the show.
Did you?
Yeah. I love the photo of Botman. Yeah, Leslie just sent me a photo of Botman in training. He looks like he's strong as an ox again, which is great.
Well,
We'll
there's
talk about that tomorrow.
Well, there's a report about him, isn't there, tonight?
Yeah. Well, he could be. He's made himself available, but whether he starts, I don't think he will, to be honest with you.
I think with Shaw being out, I think he's on the bench.
Oh, yeah, I definitely believe that. What's this? Leslie resuming, you can see his scars. You can see his scars on his knee. That's why I just got to be careful with him. Nice to see you put the washing away. It was this as well, doing the rounds. I thought this was brilliant. It's a shame they couldn't superimpose Joelinton's head on that, because it would have made it even better. But Joelinton's a monster at the moment, and the way he scored his goal, that he was just the hunger to get in there and to win it, was absolutely brilliant. We're going to talk about individual performances. I mean, I don't understand how Tonali got a 6.4. Sometimes these ratings just a bit stupid for me. But it gives us an indication of how well the team's playing. And Martin Dubravka gets 6.8, just shows he didn't have a lot to do. But Murphy finally had his down game, didn't he? Yesterday, not yesterday, on whenever it was. I don't know what day it is. His purple patch may have ended. So it's going to be very interesting what Murphy turns up against Spurs. But the only thing I'll give him about the Old Trafford game is that he kept the balance well, and he did a decent amount of defensive work helping out, but that's it. There was nothing creative from him. There was nothing special that we've seen in the last 4 games, was there?
No, do you know what it is? It's one of those. I mean, you've got to praise him. He's up for Player of the Month.
It is, yeah.
And he's the best what we've got right now. And when he plays, the team look better. And it's not because of him, it's just because it gives them more balance. And we all know he needs replacing. We all know we need a right winger. But I thought his defensive work was really good. There was a few clearances he did in the box, head as it way and everything like that. I mean, attacking wise, he was non-existent. But it is what it is, you know. It is, as long as somebody else is coming up with a good. I don't understand that 6.4 rating for Tonali, man. I'd love to know how rated that one.
Well, it's all down on the system. It's all putting in the stats of like Jules won, being taken on, all this sort of stuff, and it marks it down to a 6.4 for some reason. But
yeah,
just that 1-2 alone with Bruno to set Gordon away, that was worth an 8 for me. That touch pass was just superb. Well,
it's hardly been mentioned since the game, but Tonali missed an absolute sitter.
Yeah.
And I think if that had went in, he's suddenly in the green there. But
without a shadow of a doubt.
I think Tonali probably got like low rating because Man United did nothing going forward, absolutely nothing, and Tonali was just sitting there, and he was just laying off the passes, and Bruno Guimaraes was the one doing all the clever stuff up top. But it was. I mean, like I said, I don't really take much notice of stats, me. I think, I find them interesting, but sometimes I just think some of them just make no sense to me. But it is what it is. But I thought Murphy was okay. Good defensively, okay going forward, not much at all.
Yeah, he didn't really offer, the actual skill that we've seen of him. Unfortunately, Dobie is getting beat 3-1 at the moment, by the way, in the darts. If anyone's interested, Michael Van Gerwen is obviously turned up, which is a bit of a shame.
I've got it on. Got on the tally.
So there's a few standout performances again, the stats don't really show it, but Dan Burn was brilliant again. Their stats are good, but Bruno was fantastic. He only got a 7.2. Gordon was great. He got an assist. But Lewis Hall doesn't get the assist, even though it was his cross, because it took a deflection. It doesn't become his assist, but he was my man of the match. I thought he was absolutely superb against Man United.
I'm running out of praise for this kid, man. I really am. He's, apart from Robinson at Fulham, has there been a better left back this season in the Premier League? And not for me. I would put him and Robinson level at the minute. I think by the end of the season, Hall will overtake him. But he was. Do you know what it is? It's no coincidence Gordon's form's improved since he's been on the left, and he's got him running up and down that wing and up. Because Gordon likes to cut in. We all know that. And when he's got a left back running up and down, defenders have got to go out and mark him, which gives Gordon space. And you know what it is? It's a shame for Harvey Barnes, because Harvey Barnes could probably score a lot more goals and get a lot more assists playing with Lewis Hall as well. He's that type of player. And I thought he was fantastic. I thought Isak was fantastic. I thought Bruno was brilliant. Dan Burn, rock solid again. Thought the guy next to him at times had these moments where, like, the frustration for me. And yeah, he's calm and cool on the ball. He really is. But I mean, I can't believe I'm saying this. I'd rather have Dan Burn in the defence right now than Fabinho. So the fact that he's the one suspended and not Dan Burn right now, that I'm fine with that. Because I mean, look, Botman's got to come in at some point, but how the hell can you drop Dan Burn right now?
Tough one, because I can't see him playing two left-footed centre backs, to be honest with you.
Mean, but he can't drop Lewis Hall either. That's something he can't do, because if you drop Lewis Hall, suddenly our whole game changes. Yeah, the whole game changes. Lewis Hall is too good. You can't drop him. So at some point, Botman's going to come back in. But I mean, look, it's a nice thing to have. It really is, because you'd rather have great players able to come in, you know, than bringing in like garbage. But it's honestly, I can't. You know what it is? I can't think off the top of my head when Dan Burn had a horrendous game this season where he was poor. Maybe Fulham away, possibly. I can't remember, but because of Orchard, Fulham away. Yeah, Brentford maybe. But 95% of the games Burn's played this season, he's been rock solid. Yeah, and I remember thinking Burn, I was struggling with Burn, but that's because he was at left back, and he. What can you say? I thought them four were the standouts for me.
There's Isak. This is the form that he's in. It's been just absolutely superb. 8 goals, 2 assists. I'm running out of superlatives for him. I honestly, if someone said to me, would you swap him for Haaland? I'd say no. Because Haaland doesn't fit our system. We don't play the style of football that suits him. Man City aren't doing it either at the moment. But Isak is that Rolls Royce of a player, isn't he? He's just, he glides past people. He makes space for other people. He's unselfish. He's selfish when he needs to be. That one thing that really frustrated me is when he got in down the right-hand side and he tried to chip the keeper from such a close range. Why didn't he just drill it? That was the only frustrating thing about Isak's performance. And I've started losing confidence in him going one-on-one with keepers now.
Do you know what it is? For me, it's his only weakness right now, is being one-on-one with a goalkeeper when he's got to think about it. How you can hit the ball like he did for his disallowed goal where he was offside.
Oh, what a finish that was.
I know. But then he tries to chip a goalkeeper from a tight angle. Yeah, and he can clearly hit a ball hard. But for some reason, that was crying out for somebody to strike a ball with the laces. And you're talking about a goalkeeper who's not the best either. But, look, we've been seeing the Haaland debate for months now. but it's starting to reach radio stations and journalists, and
proper levels
it's
now.
starting to make that. I mean, I've saw about 5 experts and about 84 journalists in the last few days saying that Isak's the best striker in the Premier League right now.
Yes.
And
current form he is. I would still put him ahead of Haaland, because I've said this so many times.
Goals.
Haaland's got a lot of goals because he scores hat tricks against the Ipswiches and the West Hams, like the Palaces, the lower league side of it, where Isak doesn't. Isak will always chip with 1 and 2, but Isak does more for the team than what Haaland does for Man City for me. And Haaland's, like I say, his stats are just ballooned because of what he does to he's a flat track bully, is the best way to describe it for me.
yeah,
You put him on a road and he'll score 300.
Look, he's a great player, and nobody's like saying that he's a great goal scorer. But I think like Roy Keane went over the top a bit when he said he's a League Two player. But I know we have got what Roy Keane was on about. He's like his all round game is definitely not up there. Yeah. He needs service, and look, he's a poacher. He's in strength. He has got power and pace about him, but he can't do the magic things that Isak can. And
not even close.
I mean, Isak's the closest I've seen to Thierry Henry. The closest I've seen to him. And he's not there yet, right? Because Thierry Henry doesn't miss one-on-ones like that.
No.
But he's still about, what, 25? He can add that to his game. I mean, look, if he could finish like Shearer could, he'd probably be the best freaking player in the world right now. Honestly, he would. And I mean, like, push Salah out the equation in a minute, but it's like he's just fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Is he the key to that whole team right now? Is he the most important player in our starting 11? I mean,
yes.
Probably, yeah. And he's
100% is.
We've got to keep him fit, and that's the problem having Callum Wilson. There's always that thing in me back in my mind thinking, look, but look, there's no Cantwell's chance that Isak's going to start against Bromley. He's going to have a nice rest there. So give him a couple of games. Tottenham away, Arsenal away. We need him big time, and he'll turn up, and give him a rest against Bromley. And I think he'll have a couple of weeks off then. But he's just fabulous, man. Like, fantastic, brilliant football.
Happy birthday, Roger. I know it's tomorrow, but happy birthday for tomorrow. Van Gerwen's looking very menacing at the moment. He's doing my head in. Another shout out for Dubravka. I've obviously spoke about him on my video today. If you haven't seen it, watch it, please. I think it's a bad idea to sell him, Gary. Only because Pope's still injured. And then we've got this Greek goalkeeper to come in that we've not seen enough of. And why would you unbalance the side when he's kept 4 clean sheets, and you can see the team looks a hell of a lot more confident with him in goal? So I think it's a bad idea to upset the apple cart. I
was thinking about this yesterday. 2 months ago, I would have drove Dubravka there myself, right? But since he's come into the team, we've had about 5 clean sheets in a row?
4.
Yeah, 4.
4. Yeah.
4. He hasn't been massively tested, right? I get that, right? Fine. But that is because the defence and the midfield have been that good, right? And you can tell now they have got no problem passing back the keeper. There's no hesitation now. There's no turning back inside. They dish it out to him because they know there's no panic.
Yeah, how many times did we see that ball fling back to Dubravka, and he was like literally almost on his goal line, and everyone was just cool as a cucumber. Cool as that was going back to Nick Pope. I would have been having a heart attack.
Yep, they wouldn't give it back to Nick Pope then. They wouldn't do it because they just, right now in today's game, with our wingers, with Isak, you name it, with our midfielders, you need a goalkeeper out and kick a football, right? And Martin Dubravka can. And I was thinking about this yesterday. I would keep him. And the reason I would keep him is because what we're going to get from million pound.
It won't be a lot, but
If
I
that.
think it's more the fact that his wages off the bill. He goes on a free in the summer if we don't
Yeah,
get him now. I just still think it's a risk.
If there's a replacement coming in, right? If Trafford, whoever it is, if rumours are true, then fine, right? I watch Trafford, he can kick a ball. He can use his feet, right? Personally, I've spoken to a few people who think Nick Pope will be here next season. I don't think he will be. I think he'll be gone in the summer. And I looked at the contract situation where they've got loads of players out of contract in the summer, and a lot of them are the goalkeepers. I think they're going to completely change the goalkeepers.
I think two of them stay. I think Rudy stays. I think Gillespie stays because then they're not challenging for a first team, but they're there to train.
Gillespie will stay.
And I think Rudy
100%.
will well if he wants to. If he's doing what we want him to do, he's there
Yeah.
to be part of training. That's the only reason why he's been brought in. He knows he's not going to get on the bench. He knows, well, he has been on the bench a couple of times, hasn't he? But he knows he's not going to get a game. He's there for other reasons.
Nick Pope cannot be number one next season. I feel like I'm having a go at him, saying he's like the worst keeper in the world. He's not. Far from it. He's been great for it. But I've saw weaknesses in Nick Pope this season. And I've saw goals he should have saved. And Palace sticks out like a sore thumb for me, and really never got mentioned about Nick Pope not saving that. They were blaming the players, but I still think Pope should have freaking saved it. And then before you know it, there's another extra 2 points in the league table for him, even though we played terrible that day.
But he gained us an extra 2 points against Southampton and Spurs with those two last minute saves. So, it comes around, doesn't it?
You've got to look at it like that. But the way we play now, we need a goalkeeper who can kick a football. The best teams in the world and the best teams in this country have got goalkeepers who can kick a football. And Alisson's one of the best. Martinez is one of the best. Edison, one of the best. And it's the way the game's going. And we need to do it. And if it's Trafford, then fair enough. But,
you see how we're playing now. That's exactly how it's going to happen.
Well, I would keep him.
Yeah, snap. We know that, Les, but at least you get an Xmas card of the King. There's the King right there on the screen. Again, he's been getting... they have all gone quiet, a lot of them on Twitter. There's still people who don't think he's good enough, which I think is absolutely crazy. I did point this out in my video, but we're talking about a man who's gone to Old Trafford and beaten Man United. I know it's a pro Man United side, but we haven't done that since Alan Pardew was in charge. And even that was a snatch and grab 1-0 win at Man United, which was a demolition job. And this is his statistics. Fourth in the all-time this is the first game since he took over from the Brentford 3-3. He's the fourth in the list in amount of points gained from that point. There's only Arsenal, Liverpool, Man City who've got more points in the Premier League. And yes, I know that doesn't equate to where we finished in the league because we finished 4th and 7th. But it's still an unbelievable job. He's got players that were there when Rafa was there. He's still got players under Steve Bruce. He's took a lot of them and improved them massively, which some people say it's not down to Eddie Howe. Of course it is. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Well, of course it is, because we had a ship manager who made Fabian Shaw and Joelinton look absolutely terrible.
Exactly.
And it's...
Oh, man, it's so frustrating.
It's not just down to his coaching, it's down to his man management as well. Bobby Robson was brilliant at it. Making players feel great. Shearer confirmed it. I know Shearer was different, but it's like, look, the thing was, right, I had a go at Eddie Howe at times this season with his substitutions, his selections, simple things like that, right? But Eddie learned from them. When a manager doesn't learn from them, then you start thinking, right, yeah, hold on, is he the right guy? But Eddie's learned from his mistakes because he did make mistakes this season.
And he even said it himself.
Corrected them.
I couldn't find the balance. I was trying to work it out. I was chopping things, changing things. And I think the amount of times, because how many times I say to you and people in the group, loads of times, stop moving Gordon out to the right wing, stop moving Gordon to the front, play him on the left, get some consistency, and then you'll be rewarded. And as soon as he did that, as soon as he brought Tonali in, instead of dropping him in and out with Sean, and as soon as he said, right, this is my team, this is what I want you to do, yes, we still had a couple of poor performances in there. But once he said, right, I'm not changing it though, you guys are going to go out there and correct that poor performance and you're going to get better and better and better, it worked. Do you know what I mean? And that's there's no rocket science to it. If you put your trust into a team and you say this is, and you work on it, just like we did when we had that run in the Champions League, it was always going to come good, wasn't it?
I mean, look, I think Eddie's proved for me in the last few months that he is a great manager. Look, could lose the next 2 games, right? It's possible, right?
Yeah, it is.
But that would still not make me think that Eddie doesn't know what he's doing. And I think there's a couple of key things that happen that, whether Eddie knows this, I personally think him and Paul Mitchell are absolutely the perfect team. They just might not realise it. Because Mitchell's a genius at finding players and Eddie's great at coaching them. So that's what, if they stick to that, then I'm telling you now, Newcastle will end that trophy drought and they will challenge for trophies in 3 or 4 years' time, big ones, if they stick to that model. But like I said, he's corrected his mistakes and look, nobody can deny Eddie Howe is a very, very good manager. I mean, you could arguably say he's one of the best coaches around. But, I mean, look, the stats don't lie when it comes to Eddie Howe. And when he took over, we were literally at the bottom. And
we're rock bottom.
And what he's done with certain players, and we know who they are: Joelinton's, Shaw's, Murphy, Union, Kraft.
Murphy. I mean, we can go talking about
it's an endless list of players he's made better. And the ones he's brought in, he's made them better. Which, I mean...
He made one better and we sold them to Nottingham Forest and they're above us in the league. Exactly. And it's like Elliot Anderson, another one that is absolutely firing at Nottingham Forest right now. And it's like, I have no doubt that... 2 of them are, because Chris Wood is as well.
Look, he's a good manager, and
he will be a great manager. And if you win something, he'll be an unbelievable manager. I mean, let's look at history. How many managers have finished 4th, 7th, and taken a team from almost relegation, also into a cup final, now also into a semi-final of a cup again? Who's done that in their Newcastle career as managers?
Nobody. Do you know what people are probably going to look at me and go,
not even Keegan did that. Not even Keegan got to the final.
Well, you know what? And you know what is? You could argue Keegan had a better team than him, right? And I mean, Keegan had superstars,
though, didn't he? Let's face it.
Yeah. I mean, that's like I'm having a go.
He never got us to a final, is what I was saying. Is that Eddie Howe is a manager who's got us further in competitions consistently than any other manager so far that we've seen in our lifetime.
Look, Eddie will know this, right? And whether it's certain Newcastle fans, whether that's the media, whether that's journalists, you name it, ex-pros, he has to win something, but whether that's for us or whatever happens in the future, Eddie Howe needs to win a trophy, and then he needs to win another one, and that's what the great managers do. And this is why Bobby Robson's class is one of the greats, because he won trophies. I know he won nothing at Newcastle, but he did win in the past. And will he do it at Newcastle? I personally think he will. I'm not sure he'll... I mean, look, if we do it this season, we're going to have to beat 2 great sides to do it. And it's obvious, right? And I'm less nervous about this Carabao Cup this season than I was last season, because I genuinely hadn't half thought Newcastle could seriously win that competition. In the back of my mind, I'm still sitting thinking we've still got Arsenal and probably Liverpool to win this trophy. So in the back of my mind, I'm still thinking, look, it's a tall order. And but I still think Eddie might be the one who ends the trophy drought. So it's got to happen one day. We can't keep going for the rest of our history. We're not winning something. It's going to happen. And nobody better than Howe to do it. And the one thing I do see is who would you like ask to replace Howe? I mean, look, the amount of times I've heard Mourinho and like,
Oh,
look, I
God.
would have had Mourinho 5-6 years ago. Mourinho was brilliant, 7 years ago, but that is not the Mourinho of now. And he's a different man. And I'm still off the top of my head thinking whoever is available now, who is better than, I mean, name one who replace Howe right now.
I can't. I mean, there isn't really. I mean, there probably is out there. People know.
There will be one out. There'll be some out there, but I can't think.
Who's available? It's not just about how good they are as managers. It's who's available, who'll be willing to do it on the budget that we're running on, and who will be happy to work within the chain of command that we now have. And there's not many managers that would do that.
Well, I mean, I know it's different, but I mean, the budget thing will probably change soon because I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen it time and again today that Manchester United have got no money to spend in January because of PSR, and now TalkSport are talking about maybe it's time to scrap PSR because Manchester United are in trouble. Now, people are like complaining, saying that, it's one rule for one. We need the big teams to struggle PSR-wise because then they might get the right together and get rid of this shit, right? Yeah. Or might add a different rule where it's not as bad as it was. But I mean, look, I don't think there's a massive amount of managers out there these days. I really don't. Back in the 90s, there seemed to be an endless list of world-class managers. I'm struggling right now as to, like, who is the endless list of world-class managers in Europe right now? And Man United have supposedly got one of them the last couple of months, and he's struggling badly. So it's one of those. You've got to be careful. And I think you need an Eddie Howe to stabilise a club. I think Man United need an Eddie Howe to stabilise them right now. I really do. I think Amorim's the next level. I think they've jumped too quick. And I think it's one of, because I don't think they'll give him time. I don't think they'll give him time to build the club. And that's the problem. And look, he's done great for us. He's done wonders, and if anybody deserves to end our trophy drought, it's him. And
it's just the one thing that I can't stand online is just the whole: we lose a game, it's Eddie out, and then we win a game, they go quiet. You lose a game, or we draw a game that we possibly should win.
Yeah, you've got to be consistent.
It's this polar effect that we see. It's like bipolar on Newcastle support online. It just, that's what frustrates me. But again, you don't really hear it from a lot of the fans who go to the games, which is what's the most important thing. When they're inside the stadium, they get the support they deserve. So I'd love to scrap PSR, but end this UEFA follow suit clubs will struggle meeting requirements to play. See, you think that, Gary, but look at Chelsea. They just get fined. That's it. There's no points deductions. They don't get kicked out of Europe. They just get a fine, and Chelsea pay it.
What I will say to that is
that'll get changed.
As long as UEFA will buckle one day, because the Super League are going to go in hard, and they are going to announce that you don't have to. There's no law here. You can spend what you want, and clubs are going to follow. They're going to jump, and it's coming. And this is why UEFA will change them rules eventually. Premier League's different. They've got different rules. They just have to make a few tweaks. UEFA have got to completely scrap this because there's a more like strict at pace.
That's something to ask Leslie when we've got Stefan on. I'm obviously waiting for a reply to when he can come on. He did say he's away for New Year, and it's obviously a couple of days afterwards. So I'm trying to push him for a date. So we'll see. Can Dobie hit a 120 finish? Yes, he can. He is 5-1 down though.
Yes.
Right, last one before I go to bed. Here's the league tables. This is why I just think, I mean, how many times did I bang the drum, Gary, about, all we need to do is string 3-4 results together and we will fly up that table because of the inconsistency of all the other teams in the top half will start to drop off. Now, I know Forest haven't, but look at Bournemouth, look at Fulham, look at Villa, look at Brighton. All those teams have dropped off. City as well, we're a point ahead of them, which is crazy. But I always said 4 or 5 results and we will fly up that table. I honestly thought we'd be top 4, but to be 5th 3 points behind Chelsea, 5 points behind Forest in third. It's halfway through the season, and we're pushing in a semi-final of a cup, and we're also pushing for a top 4 finish. And fifth could get a Champions League place this season as well. So
look, I know you like your stats, but apparently it's 97 point something % now for England to get fifth Champions League.
Yeah,
that's what it's looking like.
Villa are doing brilliantly. Liverpool are doing brilliantly. Arsenal are doing brilliantly. So yeah,
is Conference League involved in this?
In what way? I think all the
i.e. Chelsea will win that tournament. Yeah. Chelsea will win that cup.
All the games are weighted, though. That's the thing. So the weight of the Conference League is so low. It's really what happens in the Champions League. That's where all points are weighted. I
mean, I think, do you know what it is? I can see Liverpool winning the Champions League, man. And I know it's going to be a lot on them. I know they need to keep players fit and stuff, but I've watched a lot of Champions League football this year. Real Madrid are not firing at all like they were.
PSG
PSG are right near the bottom. I'm not even sure they're going to qualify. And I mean, City have folded a bit this season, but still then they'll qualify. Arsenal will be tough to knock out.
Yeah, but City are close to not qualifying.
Oh, very, very. They need a win, big time. Whoever they've got next time, they need to beat. But Villa are going to qualify, so they're getting more points.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think the Champions League place is definitely going to be fifth. So it's looking sweet as, isn't it, really, when you think about it?
I mean, I don't understand the people who laugh when the English teams are losing in Europe. We're not in that competition. We need these buggers to stay in as long as possible, right? So, I know, whether that's Man United or whoever. I know it's funny watching Man United, but we still need them buggers to stay in the Europa League and stuff. It's like, it's better for the Premier League. And it is looking like fifth gets you Champions League. So we've got a decision to make in January. Do we go for it? And the owners have got to make that decision.
I still think we go for it without buying anyone because we haven't got
all those. We'll go for it.
It's just, it's a different story though, isn't it? It's a tough.
I mean, look, I'll just put this name here, Mbeumo, right? I don't think it'll happen, right? That's my personal opinion. I've never been fully confident on that deal, right? But just say we buy him.
Yeah,
that percentage of you getting in the Champions League suddenly goes up.
Oh yeah,
big time by having him on the right wing, and it's one of those where I think they'll go for it anyway, even if they don't buy anybody. But do they just think, well, if I go out and buy a right winger, who
it's a gamble, isn't it? Because if we don't
it's a gamble.
Champions League place, you're thinking about the money that we're going to lose out on would have paid for that transfer. So it's, do you take that risk or not? Because if we buy them and then don't finish in the Champions League places, who we selling to make up that amount? And that's when the big sale comes into play, isn't it? So it's I
mean, we've got them. I mean, I've said this for a year now. I don't think Harvey Barnes will be a Newcastle player next season.
No, but he's not a massive signing, is he?
There's rumors today that he could be. I think you're talking about. I think Harvey Barnes is a attractive proposition for a Premier League team.
Oh, yeah,
I think you can get 40-45 million for Harvey Barnes. And I've seen it the day in the paper. They reckon 45 million.
See, I'd take that and then put it towards the Mbeumo deal, or maybe do a swap. Maybe you swap Mbeumo and a bit of money, or swap Barnes and money for Mbeumo, maybe if they're interested. Again, it all depends on the player. Does he want to go there as well? I don't know. Thanks, Davey. Also, happy belated birthday to Andy. I know you got drunk in Monk City, and I would have done the same if I was there. So, but there we go. Let's not go into rumours, but it's a tough one. It really is tough, but I still think we've got enough to qualify in the top 5, even if we don't sign anyone. But you are right; the percentage will go up if we do sign someone, because it will be, the icing on the cake, wouldn't it? I'd swap the cells for Mbeumo. Right. Thank you, Gary, for coming on late. I know you've obviously had things to sort out. Michael Van Gerwen's just hit the winning double and absolutely swamped Derby. I mean, gee. John, you're too late. The way our squad is now, it's essential to buy, so we don't need to panic buy. If a decent deal shows, then great, but not buying for the sake of it. Squad looking good and Botman to return. I agree. And this is why I think we might wait till the summer, because it depends what competition we're in as to how hard they want to go. But you never know. I don't know. It's going to be a tough one. But I've got to go because I need to go to bed because I've got Thursday back at work tomorrow. I'm not happy, Gary. I'm not happy. Thanks for coming on. Thanks to everyone in the chat. I am back tomorrow night at 8:15 to look ahead to the Spurs game. We've got Harry coming on, who's a Spurs fan. And I think John, Ian, and Dan are going to be, it's going to be a bit of a full show, that one. There's no watch along because I am actually at work on Saturday, but then we'll be reviewing the game on Sunday night, and we've got Harry Winter coming back on, the Newcastle commentator. So that's going to be very, very interesting. So thanks very much, guys. We'll see you tomorrow night. Take care.